But at the end of the day, this is what it requires to run an operational, functional, continuous business. There's no room for letting things slide. You just gotta do what you gotta do to get what you kind of want. In life, sometimes it requires focus. In order to focus, you need to take a step back and really reflect. Here I am, after a month, back and better for whatever's to come. So I'm sure you guys have noticed I haven't really been dropping any Turo videos on the channel lately. That's only because I decided to take some time off, about a month off, not from business, but from just posting on YouTube. I recently went back home to Nigeria, spent a couple of weeks, and then I've just been slowly just taking some time off to myself to figure out how I wanted to transition into what kind of content I really wanted to be making. And of course, I decided to still keep my Turo content, but then also I've been diving deeper into not just this. Like, I just don't want to be about just Turo. I recently started to dive back fully into the habit of working out, in which I've always done my whole life, pretty much, like the past 6-7 years. Ever since I was in college, a freshman, I've been doing fitness. Hence why I dropped the last video last week introducing you guys into my fitness journey. But then at the same time, I wouldn't be me without giving you guys Turo content. So of course I'm back, and on this video we're gonna be discussing my first 10 renters back again. So let's get it. Since we're currently in the Nissan Rogue, one of my favorite SUVs to rent in the fleet, it's only right that we started off with that. So all these bookings will be pretty much in the month of August. It's currently September 4th. Now, the Nissan Rogue did have somewhat of a slower path. That's only because when I came back from my trip, it had something called like a safety recall that had to be done. So every now and then, Turo would just send you an email or whatnot on something with your vehicle that needs to be done, that needs to be checked. All it required was to just take it back to the dealership, which is Nissan in this case, and they just tell them you want a safety recall, and they just do it. And they kind of send it out to the national administration of like transportation services or whatnot. For some reason, I thought it was going to be something that was like much more hectic, so it kind of took me time to do. And honestly, it was literally like a 2-hour process that I should have been doing. So we had a slow August with the Nissan Rogue. One of the first bookings here was for 4 days. This was at $79.50 a day, a delivery fee of $60. I don't know if it's just Atlanta or it's nationwide, but right now, any airport delivery in Atlanta, you can only cap the amount of delivery fee to $60. So you can't really charge anything more than $60. So it's literally from free to $60. Of course, I put it on the highest. Any $60 delivery fee and any of these earnings will reflect towards that. This ended out being $332.50 minus the $40 ticket fee. That was just literally in a reimbursement, but everything else was earnings. So we can just do 330 minus 40, and that leaves us at like 292 or something like that for 4 days. Probably the lowest that the Nissan would be on, but since I had just got back, I don't even think I adjusted my pricing. I just kind of went with Turo's pricing. So that's something to look out for as well. Never really go with what Turo advises you to rent out. Kind of do your own thing, because they will always kind of put you at the lowest when you could potentially earn way more. I've still been very consistent with bookings, not following Turo's pricing point. The Nissan Rogue had one more booking for $151 just today at $80 per day. Last minute boost pricing of $8 and a custom delivery fee of $95. Trip total came out to $183, but because of the 75% protection plan that I'm on, I only take 75% of my earnings. If you're a returning subscriber, then you already know what protection plan I'm on, but this is for anybody that's potentially watching my video for the first time. And that's pretty much all we did with the Nissan Rogue. It's honestly been a very, very slow season with that, just because of, like I said, the safety recall that I didn't really go ahead and take care of as soon as possible. But overall, the Nissan Rogue has yet to give me any problems. I've been renting out this car for going on a year. I think next month or in October, it'll be a year. And this car has yet to experience any form of damages at all. This car has been clean cut, lovely. Like, everybody that rents this car loves it. The reviews are immaculate. Everybody literally has nothing but good things to say about this vehicle. And to be very honest, the Nissan Rogue has experienced the most returning customers, as opposed to something like the Tesla, who is usually a newer person. But I get it. The Tesla is more of an experienced vehicle, as opposed to the Nissan. It's just, okay, like, I trust this vehicle. It's reliable. It's going to take me to Alabama. It's going to take me to Tennessee. It's going to take me to Florida and back. But the Tesla is for individuals who necessarily may be their first time renting it, or they want to just get the experience that they've heard a lot about Tesla and they just want to experience it on their own. That just goes to show you that luxury cars don't always mean more money. Just because it costs more and you can rent for more doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna make more. You know that people are gonna enjoy the vehicle, and you know you can spend less time worrying about the vehicle while it's on the road because guests tend to love it and treat it right. And the people that usually do rent it are very much more responsible. So it's good for business, it's reliable, it's trustworthy, it brings returning clients. Last but not least, you can rent it out for longer and still enjoy the vehicle to your own satisfaction because there's really nothing really to do or any damages occurring on a car. Yes, sir. I'll be delivering to you in about 2 hours. Yeah, we can meet at the airport. Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport works. You land at 5 p.m.? All right, correct. I'll meet you at the South Delta Terminal. Yes, sir, that works. All right, see you in a couple hours. This is my baby, y'all. And to be very honest, it actually does pretty decent for what it is. I call Teslas one of the most affordable luxuries on the market right now. With all the features that you can get, all the technologies in 2025, updated features that you can get, honestly, the Nissan Rogue is not too much difference in pricing compared to what the Tesla has to offer and how much more you can rent it out per day. But every good thing has its disadvantages, and one of the disadvantages of owning a vehicle like this is that it's a lot of people's first time using the vehicle, so it's more prone to damage. Just this year alone, it's had several damages, from the trunk damaged by one of my guests earlier in July or June, to the wheels easily getting curb rash, just because the way Teslas are set up. It just, when you turn, it kind of just like, it's very easy to hit the curb or whatnot. So it's not necessarily the guest's fault, but at the end of the day, it's a damage to the vehicle, as well as just different things that people may not necessarily understand just yet because it might be their first time. Safe to say, this year has been very good on damage payouts for me. With the damage that have happened, we've been able to, profit a good amount, just because Teslas require OEM parts and all that. But not everything that gets damaged needs to be fixed. But that's a story for another day. The Tesla was first rented out for 2 days at $91 a day earlier in August. And this was a delivery fee of $60 as well. Post-trip recharging of $15 and convenience fee of $10. And then the post-trip recharging, that only occurs when guests charge the vehicle. So what happens when you buy a Tesla is that your card is automatically set up with buying the Tesla. That's just how they do it. They have you put a credit card on file. So every time you go to Tesla Supercharger, you don't have to physically pay. All you have to do is just insert it. So your credit card is set up for convenience purposes. But then if you're renting out on Turo, it's different because you're actually not the one incurring those charging expenses. So what Turo does is that they give you an option to send out the invoice for reimbursement. Now, recently they've updated their terms and stuff where you can kind of like charge the guests as well. But don't quote me on that because I'm yet to actually get there. It's still okay and convenient for me because at the most you'll spend is $100, and that I can afford and wait till I get a reimbursement. We took home $215. Right after that, another guest booked the vehicle for 2 days as well at $87. This was during the week, so during the week prices are usually relatively slightly cheaper than the weekend pricing. Honestly, I took that terminology from hotels. I noticed that hotels charge cheaper during the week as opposed to weekends. So prepaid EV charge of $30. For anybody else, this might be a reimbursement, but for somebody like me who charges at home, gets free charging at my apartment, honestly, that's gonna make it very, very tough for me to leave my apartment. Like, if I leave my apartment, I have to go to another apartment offering the same things, because in a year I can profit at least $1,000 with having that extra on my vehicle. Delivery fee of $60. We all know that's going to the airport. Now, on-trip charging is, when you charge the vehicle while driving. So actually, I'm sorry, I was wrong about the last earnings that I told you. I spoke about post-trip. Post-trip for me is still earnings because that's just when you bring the vehicle back at a lower battery fee. And like I said, I charge free at home. Now, on-trip is what they do while the vehicle is on the road. So that's a reimbursement. We took home $252.31. Now, last minute boost pricing of an extra $17.40. This for me is a great option if you have leniency. Let's say you work Monday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you have off. What I suggest is on Fridays, you know that you're pretty much like free during that day. So go ahead and set your booking to be able to get booked anywhere from like 6 hours, 3 hours, or 2 hours in advance. Go ahead and make sure your car is always ready. You're not working on that day anyways. So that way you can possibly get extra earnings. Just imagine $17 extra, $20 extra, $30 extra, $40 extra every booking. In 12 months, that's a lot of money. So really, I'm not renting out at $87 a day. I'm renting out at around 90 something dollars a day. Next booking was for a returning guest. Actually, he always has a home delivery. It's honestly like 20 minutes away. It's actually closer than the airport, and I make more. The trip had to be canceled because he was over 2 hours late. And in that sense, you can kind of pardon the guest if you want, but if it's a business at the end of the day, the policies are on there. So after 2 hours, you can do this and, go ahead and do that. So after 2 hours, we were able to cancel the trip because obviously, like, he was unresponsive as well. He really wanted the vehicle, so he rebooked that same day for the same price. And in a day, we took home $180 plus the $87 from earlier that day. So we're at like $267. Our next booking was for an individual who wanted delivery at the airport. Honestly, the whole month of August was airport deliveries. For some reason, I didn't get any home deliveries. Airport deliveries used to be something that I used to look forward to, because I was able to make way more than a home delivery. Imagine the extra $100 every booking. But since Turo capped the max amount you could charge for delivery at the airport to $60, honestly, it's been more tedious than exciting for me, because the $60 is just not worth the hassle in Atlanta. Now, if you're somewhere in a slower state, less traffic or whatnot, then it's probably perfectly fine still. This individual had to cancel on his own. Last minute, he decided to cancel, but it was within a time frame where he would still be charged partial fees. So that was $60.45 for the hassle, because he canceled within a short period of time. Literally right after that, about an hour or less, an individual booked it again for the same thing, airport delivery. But I was unable to deliver this vehicle to the individual just because there were issues with his license. The guest license was not actually a driver's license. It was like, I think it was called like conditional license. And when something like this happens on Turo, you are actually not allowed to give the vehicle out. So it's very important that you take a very, very thorough good look at the guest license. And if you have any questions, make sure that you hit up Turo and be like, yo, is this okay? Can I give this guy? This is what his license says, blah, blah, blah. And they let you know right away, yes or no. I know a lot of y'all probably like, damn, like you harsh with the business. But at the end of the day, this is what it requires to run an operational, functional, continuous business, is you need to make sure that you're on it. There's no room for letting things slide. In this case, if something would have happened to the vehicle, then there's a high chance that I probably wouldn't be protected under my Turo protection plan. And y'all telling me I've been paying y'all all this Turo fees just for something to happen to this vehicle and I cannot get my damage reimbursed? Hell no. No way. As a convenience fee, we're given $80.36. Before moving on, I just realized that the Nissan did get a couple of cancellations in the month of August as well that we didn't speak on. Following day, after all the cancellations with the Teslas, we did get another booking, an individual who rented out for 5 days. She initially rented out for 2 days, but then kept on extending. This is at $91 per day, prepaid EV charge of $30, prepaid refuel, as you guys can see, of $30 as well. Now, we all know the Teslas do not take fuel. Right here is just an extra that's called prepaid refuel, but it's really prepaid cleaning. Now, Turo doesn't offer the extras like slot to put like prepaid cleaning. I decided to make my own cleaning because why not? A lot of people will rent out and it'll come back dirty. You kind of want to save yourself from that possible $150 cleaning fee and just go ahead and prepay $30. To be very fair, it's actually very, very hard to get cleaning fee with Turo. But I just put that there like, hey, instead of risking the $150 cleaning fee, go ahead and do this. You know, you just got to do what you got to do to get what you kind of want. It's not super consistent, but every now and then you get an individual who will pay, like this lady. Last minute boost pricing of $45. So look at this, right? It's a last minute boost pricing of $45. Now, like I said, it could probably range from $9 to $45, but you don't want to miss out on that. So if you have the free time, then why not? Just always make sure that your car is in good condition. And when I say always make sure that your car is always ready, I want to make sure that I point this strong fact out, is that When it comes to Turo, when you take pre-trip photos, make sure that you do this diligently. Make sure that it's within 24 hours of the booking. Because let's say you go use a picture from like last week because no damages or anything really changed on your vehicle, and then you use that as a pre-trip photo and the vehicle comes back and it actually has damage. Turo has a way to actually look at the database of your pictures and kind of see when it was taken. So if it was taken like over 24 hours, that's your ass, man. Also had a $45, which is an extra day. Now, since she returned it a couple hours late, after 30 minutes, you're able to charge a guest for an extra day. Between 30 minutes to 2 hours or 2.5 hours, it's half a day's booking. After 2 hours, then it becomes a full day. So if you're a guest, make sure you return on time or communicate with your host. Trip total came out to $800 and we took home $651. Now this was a canceled trip of $174. The only reason I was unable to give this vehicle to this lady was because she was not the actual individual picking up. The primary driver, the person who actually booked, needs to be the one picking up. She asked her husband to pick it up. I couldn't give it to her because, like I said, damages occur, I possibly won't be reimbursed. And this is a Tesla at the end of the day, so we need to make sure that we're renting out diligently. Last but not least, this was with an individual from a couple days ago, actually, who rented out for 2 days at $110. This was Labor Day bookings. That's why the pricing is a little bit more. Last minute boost pricing of $22. On trip charging of $16. Trip total came out to $318 and we took home $251. Now, the odd thing with this booking is it actually came with some damages to the passenger front tire. It came with like mad curb rash. What I actually do with my Tesla is that I have room covers all over each tire just because I understand how easy it is to get curb rash. But this individual hit the curb so hard that he broke the rim covers and also left so much damage towards the rim. And then at the end of the day, which kind of like goes with my point of doing what's right, man. Like, don't let nothing slide, because with this individual, he was kind of unresponsive, didn't want to pay. So if he was somebody where his license was wrong or submitted like false pre-trip photos or anything, then there's a chance that I wouldn't get covered and then the wheels would just be what it is. And then I have to dip out of my profit that I've been making to fix the vehicle. Now with something like this, obviously the vehicle is still functionable. It's not the end of the world. But at the end of the day, if something else happens to that and you don't fix it, then Turo's not gonna fix it. It's just like any other insurance. Nobody should do that without you being compensated. So yeah, it's not the end of the world, but at the end of the day, I need to get compensated for the damage that was done. But so far, so good. I actually wouldn't mind getting another Tesla. I'm back and I'm better, and I can't wait to share so many more new experiences with you guys. Kindly hit that subscribe button so you know every time I drop a video. Not only will I be dropping Turo videos, but a whole lot of more fun stuff as well. So make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't already, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Skate.